Welcome, L127 here. So we are back in Stick Ranger 2. So the last time I recorded this game was last year, in December last year, which was in version, I believe, 25.1. And now we are in 30.3. It has been a year. And so we are back in this game. And so the first thing I want to talk about is I just kind of changed how I compose my team. So in one of the video, I received a comment about not using the build I used before, which which says is more vulnerable or like it's easier to die with that. So and I also changed the way I think around this game. So I actually have changed how I design the team. So let's take a look into the new team compositions for this. So for this, for player one, I use the short physical attack. So apparently that the shorter, so this short medium range, so this group of attack bonuses stacks multiplicatively with the type damage bonuses. So if you're using exactly the short physical, like I allocate this way, it's going to receive a lot of damage, which will be useful later because we'll tend to need a lot more damage for later challenges. And then player two, we have middle elemental and the long range elemental. So this is basically a short physical attacker, which is going to be using the knuckle and deadly blows, basically gloves, just powerful gloves to be able to do some decent damage, specifically single target damage. And this, as the Thunder Helper is really doing some decent and alongside with the Thunderland, so we'll be using middle elemental. And for this, we are using Thunder Knuckle because it's fast. And then we also have Poison Shots, which actually is quite decent under this bonus application. And we also have Emerald Ring, which increases poison damage. So it's even more damage. So, and the player 4 is basically a tank build. And then for the ring, we have the gold ring because like it doesn't really need like much of the other things. So I could just basically apply for a basic ring, or a bonus ring. And for the weapon I use is basically it's for slow application, which I use a sci-fi amulet with Ice Blade, which allows us to have a 75% slowdown, which can be useful. And then for the composition, I have Dodger. This can only go up to 25 points. And then you then have basically half a chance of dodging attacks. And then basically I put the rest into life. So the reason I put put the health this way is because so I take more damage. So as you're going to see here, once my health reaches 0 as for P1 here, and taking further damage is going to be doing the damage to the other members. And when most of the members are also reach 0 health, it's only going to be damaging the last player here, the P4 here. And then we only receive the game over when all of the health pool is drained. So basically all 4 health pools are drained to 0. And that's why I decided to do this way. Also because like P1, P2, P3 tend to be taking more hits as the priority order for non-special attacks. And P4 also has Silk Hat, which also makes the case that it actually has no defense. Unlike the first three, which actually has some defense, which allows them to be more tankier than P4 in some forms, especially when taking low physical damage from enemies. So a brief composition with rings. So this is basically a physical ring. So it basically gives you ability to uh, get physical damage, increase. And the banded amulet, because we're going to be grinding for some items for the next few screens. And for the player tool, we have the topper string for increasing lightning damage. We also have the light amulet, which kind of helps with the thunder helper and lance. And for this, we have the emerald ring, increasing the damage, and we have the citrine amulet, which allows more frequent cast of the poison mist shots, or like other poison weapons, or like charge weapons, which actually kind of shines. For long range specifically. Anyway, so last time we actually have basically engaged with Limestone Cave 5, but the last time we actually have no drops. So in this session, we are going to actually be encountering the drops for for this section, as we have basically earned everything that comes prior to the point. We have every amulet and every ring. Also, it's actually that I actually just did a new run for this whole team, so I can actually I can kind of respec without me using the shrine. So we're just going to be doing this and try to grind for the weapons and the items that we can get for this. So first weapon is the claw, and the claw is basically a lot of damage. Not only the weapons that are added, or like the drops, we also have medals. But yeah, most of the medals that we can get is it poses as some sort of challenge to the play, and it can be a bit tricky to deal with if you're planning to do that. So the first challenge is to clear the stage without healing, which I may have some sort of difficulty to do so because I am quite low health, so this can be bad. And there is a defeat slime, avoid poison. We're going to do this first. So the first thing is I'm going to change the weapon because it doesn't work for Okay. So we need to avoid taking the laser beams out of this and try to take down these slimes. And these slimes of resistance to poison. So we will have to use fires or something. It's okay on the left side, but it gets very hard when we try to deal with these on the right side. So I better be careful because if I take any of the laser, it's over. I may need to take in some actions so I can actually reach the right side with them. You know, taking the poison laser beam. Better be careful on this part. There's a decent amount of damage. Okay, so it appears that we will need to do some more things to get this out of the page. We're going to be using this weapon. It is the salamander. So it's a passive, it's a kind of a passive weapon. And to cast this, we will have to, and it's going to have some sort of difficulty to actually cast this in. So we're going to just try our best to be able to do some things to this. And it can be kind of tricky to get to. So I would have, what if I assume I may have to redo this? At least try to squeeze in another poison shot, maybe, or like flame shots. I may need to increase range, so I'm trying this first. I'm trying to just squeeze in some charge. Okay, we were able to do something to this. So we're actually doing the salamander. But in that case is that we may actually need to use the salamander. Anyways, so that medal is completed. Now, next thing that we're going to focus on is this defeat only giant red squid. So we have to avoid doing damage to the yellow ones, the lightning elemental ones. And the best way to do this is to use lightning weapons, which we can use this lightning burst to do so. And then we are going to be with this back again. That's what the thing is. I don't know if I should take it. Let's just take this ring because I'm not. As this can be hard with the fire, I may need to change to long range weapon. It can be hard to do so when I do this first. Okay, let me change so weapon to something like this, just to have some range so I can actually. I have to take the heavy dating of this flame because this flame can actually. I don't have much health left, so I need to be careful because I cannot heal because there's a level but I cannot heal. I can gun this red guy. I should be able to focus on the west, and that's it for this. And we also got the sable, which comes from this silent from the skies to the sable. It's basically the sun, the soul ring to the enemy. So, and so the next part, we're going to position the glue, uh, well, weapons. Now we're going to be using the flame shots. Also, we got a center upgrade, and then let's just put this back in. Okay, we are done with this. So now we have some other things that we need to do. The first is 99 gold ores. So in order to do this, I don't know if this will work because there's possibilities maybe to not too much. So in order to do that, you have to first make sure when you are entering the screen, you have your gold amount, the last two digits to be 99. So in this case, we have this amount, and the last two digits is 99. And entering the screen will give you the medal. As how this works is so the gold ores spawn here, and the amount varies depends on the the last two digits of the so say like I take one more gold and I actually die. I take one more gold out of this, and then it's just not going to spawn because now the last two digits is zero, and because I'm about to die, and yeah, we're going to just see. Okay, so let's take a look at the weapons. So the claw is basically an upgrade to another, so we're just going to be basically upgrading this and just use it. And the sable I will upgrade, but I'm not going to use it. We also got the centaur, which we can upgrade it to have this. But yes, now we needed to take too much attention because I want defense, not magic defense. Anyways, now the last battle we have to do is the sunflower hunt. It will it will complete on its own. So let's put our focus on getting the weapons. So let's put our first focus into the Thunder Trident. So the first thing I want to do is to actually go to the next level, the Limestone Cave 6, and then just go back down. And then we're going to be trying to complete this. Yeah, this intense freeze can really destroy us. It's like 95% freeze down, so it is intense. It's not friendly. But yeah, so the first thing that we are going to be using is the banded amulets, as this will greatly improve our chances here. Because grinding for these weapons can be painful, so that's why we need to rely on the increase in drop rates. Because if we don't improve our drop rates, this can be very painful. So we're going to be using our banded amulets when trying to grind for this, because otherwise it takes too much time. I will talk about Limestone Cave 6 later, but for now we're going to just try to focus on getting everything done for Limestone Cave 5. Okay, so we have a new weapon obtained. It's the Thunder Trident. So it's basically an upgrade version for the Thunder Halberd. So we're going to be upgrading this right away and use it. And our next weapon to get, well, actually, yeah, this two, from this two. So first is the high poison bow. Also, this weapon is called the lightning bullets. It comes from sunflowers, I believe. And there's also a ring. We actually have rings before like rings for the next for this one and the next two screens before we actually have the medals. We have all the medals in the in this upcoming Limestone Cave 5 and 6. Well, they're still progressing because well, it's probably going to be the last updates of the year. Well, the current version is going to be the last update of the year. And here's the weapon, which is the high poison bow. It's basically the poison area of the poison bow, but that's it. This is only a charge plus 2 weapon, but nothing can really compare that to this because now we don't get choices. But yeah, for the long range elementalists, we're probably going to be using. We're probably going to be using the quick attack instead, so I can actually charge my. I can actually use the charge more efficiently. So now we have all the weapons. So now we only need to really grind for the green and grind for the sunflowers. So let's see if I can actually get the ring from the sunflowers and this best. Rings can be a hard thing to get, so it can take a while, or like it could just I could just get them during the process. But if I don't get the ring, I probably going to be doing this. I'm probably going to be doing an off-screen session for this, so I can actually just demonstrate the ring without like making the video way longer than it needs to be. I will also take down these signs so I can have some extra chances for this because I don't want to put too much on this video. Even though it is probably going to be a long video because the next few because some of the medals can take a very long time to complete. I'm going to try to heal before I'm going to die. And then it's 36. Oh, here's the ring. Okay. So the ring is the master ring, which is basically the upgraded version of craft ring, which also combines the effect for the craft amulets. So it increased both your arms and charge by one level. So I'm going to be using this on the player too, the trident user. And then we still have some sunflowers to take down, so we can actually have this go. And after the sunflowers are taken down, we will be able to get the next amulets for this level to this group, this stage. And that's it. Sunflower hands 50. Okay, so we can go back now. So, uh, uh okay, so the next emulator we guess is this giant amulet. It's also one of the reasons I want to put the composition of to use this new composition for the players, so we can just have this single one to have become a huge tank with insane amount of LP, which will be a very useful life tank supply to basically handle whatever hits we will be receiving during battles. Generally increases the resilience of the team, so the team doesn't die easily. But yeah, that's basically Limestone Cave 5. Next thing that we can do is to upgrade our the weapons. Like it's high poison ball. It actually gets more damage than before. It actually does quite a bit of damage. 40 to 40, but it's still not very comparable to the poison charge. Like the poison mist shot still does crazy damage. And the lightning bullet, which shoots bullets that has a very many levels. And it's just a single bullet basically. It's primarily for like it's plus 3, I guess. It's plus 3. It's plus 3 charge. For the next level, I'm probably gonna be using the poison mist shots. Okay, so let's put focus on Limestone Cave 6. So the Limestone Cave 6. So we have this trees that shows this lightning beams, while there is also the lightning beams that can shoot from the blocks above them to shoot the lasers beneath. These are very strong, and I would like to get the next charge weapon before I proceed to do any further, because it can actually be quite difficult to get to. So we have the fire saber for this. These are just basically the mob enemies, which has a chance to drop the ring of the sage. This has the silver trident. It's also basically the mob enemies. Resist fire and lightning, so we basically have to use poison and ice for like physical damage. And this very very dangerous fish has the ice blast, and there's a poison version of this which has the wind bolt. And the way to get this poison guys to spawn, there are two ways of this happening. So the first thing is getting to this section, and it was one of the clones. The poison lasers has no delay compared to the lightning variants. And another comes from here. Uh, they are slightly taller than the yellow ones, so if you don't do really a red damage, you should be good. So yeah, that's basically the Limestone Cave 6. Is before I would like to move on for any things in Limestone Cave 6. The first thing is the medals. We have the stage clear within 150 seconds. Defeat official without diving and without landing. Basically, those you see in cave. 3 lasers. I will talk about this laser and the pass-through don't touch. So the first thing I would like to do is to actually move on to this level. Is like one of the craziest level you ever have seen. And the Limestone Cave 7 methods I will talk about that later. For now, we are going to just look into this. So we have the Orion Ring, the Depth Scratch, the Flame Laser, the Solar Flare. Generally a very chaotic level. We also have the Ice Shards and the Lightning Saber. These are the charge weapons that I'm talking about. So the first thing I would like to grind for is the Solar Flare, which comes from the golden ones that you can, they are spawned from these, by clicking on this golden node, and there is a chance for you to get this charge weapon, and we will be trying to get for this weapon. Also, these golden enemies drop a decent amount of gold, so yeah, it's just basically how we're going to get gold in the new way to get gold. So the first thing that we want to do is just basically trying to work out try to get the solar flare, which is a decent charge weapon that I'll be using for the previous screen. And we got an ice weapon. It comes from the trees. Okay. Also, we got the ring for this level. Okay, this is getting a bit crazy because this level is already crazy. Well, yeah, this level is indeed crazy on its own, so nothing I can do about it because there's way too many enemies in this skipping, and it's just generally chaotic. We basically only have the 3 enemy 3 streams, but it can take a while to actually finish off this boss. Okay, so the ring of this, but the ring is the Morion ring, which increases your charge by 1. So basically, the weapons, the charge, increase the charge by 1. So you equip the rings, it makes the charge, it makes faster charges, and it's getting crazy because oh my god, what's happening? Okay, I did get a solar flare, but oh my god, what the heck is happening? Oh my god, this is getting crazy. I don't know what is happening because like there's just way too many enemies. Just get the fuck out of here. Anyways, we also got a few levels, which will be very useful. And yeah, number 55. I will 55 on LP, which will help. I can crazy screen. Anyway, we got some weapons, and the things to the left is this Depth Scratch on this guy, and the Flame Laser. I kind of want to get the Depth Scratch. Flame laser is kind of okay, but yeah. This guy is going to be taking a long time, so going to take too much damage on the rest. So the best way to deal with those guys, to deal with those trees, is to use the thunder, and the nature of the thunder, basically, to be able to efficiently uh, kill these guys. And we basically do not have worries about monetary. We basically have no worries about monetary conditions now, because like this, these enemies, there's a crazy amount. There's a crazy. There's a crazy amount of money. For this, we're just basically going to be doing. Okay, we got a death scratch. And I'm going to go back first because oh my god, I'm getting destroyed. Okay, so the death scratch is basically it's a kind of an improved version of the deadly blood I'm be using this for this. There's a few differences to the deadly blood. So this is a multiple shots to the elf amulet is actually going to be functioning in this one, so we can actually just use this to kind of improve the death scourge, which I will be using after I can only use this. And the lightning saber is quite expensive. The ice shot is kind of crazy. I can't even use this. And this will be paired with ring for sure, because the ice shot's kind of decent in some form. It can already do like very huge damage. And there's a solar flare. And yeah, it's kind of crazy. Anyways, I will be using solar flares instead, actually. But yeah, for now, we're going to be trying to do the next incoming phase for Limestone Cave 6. This is generally one of the most annoying levels. So the first thing is we're going to try to rifle with it. So the solar flare is kind of like this, and it does crazy amount of damage. So the first thing that we can do is to try to do with these trees and try to get the loot. So the first thing is I don't even know what I got because like I take way too much damage. There is a speed clear challenge this level, which requires you to complete this in 150 seconds, which is crazy. And we just got our cast plot, which is basically the improved version of the light knuckle. It's still going to be using light knuckle for this guy. We can use the cast claw for. As you can already see, the solar flare is doing crazy amount of damage. It's like one of the craziest things you can just experience. The medals can be a bit annoying, so it's going to be taking quite a while to complete this medal. Trying to take down this trees first. Trying to clear the stage will take way too long if we do this way. We will have to be extremely aggressive when we actually try to do the speed clear. There's still the tree that has to be taken down. Okay, so the first thing is the 3 lasers medal. To get for this medal, we will have to basically trigger this laser beams like this. So you'll get the 3 lasers. This one is one of the easiest medals, along with pass through, don't touch. I'll talk about how we're going to do pass through, don't touch later. Stage clear within 150 seconds is the hardest, in my opinion. And I'm going to do it because I'm probably going to die. Anyways, so first let's try to grind for the weapons because yeah, there is already some difficulty in grinding the weapons, so yeah, we're going to try to get this first. And I'm probably going to try to get an upgrade version of it. Try to upgrade the cast glove if I come back because it gets kind of annoying already. As you can already see here, he's doing decent amount of damage to these guys. Yeah, this is basically how we're going to actually deal with these trees because otherwise I will get rid of a very decent amount of DPS to deal with these tanky trees. They are very tanky, so we need to take in some serious weapon upgrades for this. And the solar flare appears to be the one best ways to improve our DPS on these trees. Especially for those lightning trees. Well, you don't really need to take down those poison trees. So I guess and those lightning trees have some sort of difficulty to deal with those lightning lasers raining down from these things, which will make some annoying things. Can be annoying. It's just not nice. We'll be taking a heavy beating already. I guess we don't really need to take too much serious slowdown, so I'm gonna be using the giant amulet. Also, the new ring for this is the titanium ring, which decreases the AGI by 2. So basically, if you use an already low AGI weapon, like the light glove, with titanium, and it's like a thing, which is the cast forward for any upgraders, so just to fulfill what we miss. And with this castle, with this titanium ring, it's going to be giving out a crazy 5 AGI, which makes a very quick attack. But the first thing I'm going to try to do is to actually unlock the rest of the weapons. And generally, with the cast claw and this crazy titanium ring, we will be able to cast in this very quickly. Or we can use the Morion ring, which increases charge to make it so I can just use a little bit less to actually cast in this solar flare more efficiently. As you can already see, like the solar flare is really destroying these guys like crazy. So we have the drop from this lightning trees. We still don't have that for the poisonous. So we're going to try to grind for this poison trees first. And then we'll move on to the fish. The fish is even more. than the trees. Because there are some laser guys which do like crazy amount of laser damage, which can be extremely painful to deal with because you might easily just die because their poison damage do be ridiculous. And we also have to draw get the draws from these snakes. All worms. Because they appear to be called worms. I don't know. So, but yeah, this is basically how we're actually going to be able to beat this thing because later on when we are trying to do the speed rush of this thing, we really need to rely on this insane DPS on this solar flare because otherwise this doesn't work. So I'll be trying to grind for this trees first, along with the slime, or like, or you want to call it anyways. Those, those ones have the fire saber. They drop the arms, so yeah. Uh, so we just have to take some time to get this part finished. And finally, we got the drops on the trees. Okay, we're going to do the next. So let's talk about the next bow. It's the wing bow. So it's basically the light bow. Oh, we also got the facsimile already. Okay, good. So we got the wing bow. It's basically the professional the light bow, and it's already charged plus three. And then there is the fire sable. So it's basically the fire base weapon. And didn't get any levels. Okay. So the fish is where we're going to be changing all the weapons. This. And I guess this will work. I can't really do much on this lining because it's kind of painful that part. But yeah, it gets more difficult on it. So I guess we just have to go with this. So first we go up to Limestone Cave 7 first. Limestone Cave 7. First I'm going to try to complete the no landing one. So this laser, enemies can be very dangerous, as these lasers do a crazy amount of damage. And I got the medal for no landing. And we got the weapon for our silver trident. So this is my, it's probably like the steel caliber and uh, it's tight series, so it's probably like something that you can use now for anyway for so, thousand. So we're gonna grind for the drops first before we actually proceed to do the more difficult part of the quest. So the first one comes from this fish. For this next one, that comes from fish. It's the it's this ice cream. It's basically like in bullets, but it's ice type. So yeah, this fish can be very dangerous for the ice shots is crazy. So that's why we need a tank because the tank will be able to handle this. With a tank, we will be able to handle this laser guys more efficiently. I will say the comment is right because, like, yeah, having a single tank will be a more efficient take on this, which allows me to actually survive for a more reasonable uh, time instead of just quickly dying out and just rip else. It's actually quite a bit of levels. And decrease danger for this, and increase freezer rate for this, and social those things. So we got a drop for this level finally, and now it's up to completing the medals for this levels. So the first thing is stage clear within 150 seconds. This can be quite tricky. So we will have to switch weapons first, and this can be quite tricky. Mainly on the part of. So first, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go up, and for this part, I will be using the infinite because, well, I don't even care now because like DPS low key here because there are no drops left. And here we're going to just be using the ice shots and whatever one method, and we just try to do anything done by the time this has to be done. Because I don't think the DPS will last any longer than this being there for any longer. It's just and now we're going to drag the old disguiser to the face because I don't care if he's out there one at the time and whatever this is getting. And our next one is going to be changing to the solar flare and also with something that I can use. And quickly changing to the paces and safety measures and unique. And for now, we're going to try to focus on this. We're going to go to another healing because one of them is probably going to and just full focus on this guy. I hope I am doing this quick enough because oh my god, it takes way too much. Okay, here we go. So yeah, stage clear within 150 seconds. The first time I did this, I only have a few seconds to spare. So yeah, it's a serious task. So our next mission is to defeat Ovation. I think we're going to change our equipment for this to the ice version. and I'm also going to be using to use the range version. So, well, I'm going to use that. Okay, so next, focus is we're going to turn to move off this. And later on, we're probably going to go the manual focus on getting the, even though the medals is kind of intimidating, the rewards, the amulets, is kind of underwhelming to me, actually. It kind of feels quite underwhelming for some reason. Uh, okay, now we're just going to clear this the remnants of fish. I may need to change to this so I gain more range because it's getting harder to reach these guys. Okay, so I will talk about pass through don't touch later. Since now we are done with this connection now, the only thing that we have to play is the information from this guy. For now, I'm going to go back and this is kind of good. So I'm using this. And yeah, time to complete Limestone Cave 7 for now. And I say complete, it's just a stage 3 because technically completing Limestone Cave 7 is significantly more difficult than you would actually think. I mean, this seemingly chaotic level, you would have expected like the things to be even more complicated, right? Yes, it is. So we're just going to be talking about that a little bit. And I may not have a very decent, very upgraded equipment for this. It's not really covering this. Well, actually, I'm going to start over. So the first mission that we have to do is to take down these trees. So as you take down these trees, they're going to spawn some more enemies, the big stickmen, or in this game, what do you call them? The those. But yeah, that's basically how we're going to get this issue. Yeah, there's a bunch of enemies, and I just also already taken all the trees down. For now, what we are trying to take down is just a consistent string of enemies. It's going to take a while for this to be finished. And that's it. And so the first medal for this level as well is the stage clear and combo. So it's basically you have to kill all the enemies while sustaining the combo throughout the first kill. Or you can just do the transition of the screen because we have to remember to finish this. So it's probably going to be like a very large combo medal for this later. I can't be sure. But we also get access to the lower portion of this area, which allows us to get the fever healing of and then you can go for a crazy like this. And this this is for the previous levels of pass through don't touch. So first we will have to go for like this and do something like this. And then we got the image for the level. It is the moon amulet, which is decreased gravity from the welder of the amulets. I don't know how I'm going to actually use this. And the last thing that I want to do before I start to work on the other medals that comes with this in is to actually get the draw from this guy. And I'm going to change to the vendor unless I'm will be using this on P2 because I'm going to use P1 I think this because just decent amount of damage for us because like this guy has resistance to like solid elements and then go to like little type of that. So this is the last one that we actually have to kill to get the final draws that we can get at the moment. But this guy has a very decent amount of slowdown, so yeah, this can be a big pain. And I only dropped that provided I want to go. And the tree resist fire. Well, I guess the fire element isn't the first place. Let's get this. Resistant. Practically anything, and only simple weapons will do. So, well, physical does, so I guess you just use physical. Because in the one that comes in the limestone cave is only vulnerable to poison, but no, we have very strong poison, so it's not going to be as much of a difficulty to deal with that. But yeah, for all I can move this to actually can focus on getting away with uh, the draw from this part from this enemy. It's getting quite annoying because I'm trying to go with this with increased drop rate and I'm still not getting the thing. Oh yeah, this level is basically the new I would say the new money grinding level. Okay, so we finally got all the drops that we can get us at this moment. Okay, so so it's time to raise this back up. Just this economics actually. So it's basically a flame. So it's basically a laser. But the fire race laser. So let's put our focus on the last two medals that we have. just came out recently. First is the army of those. So those statements are called those. Anyways, for this very first part of this, it's okay. I will say it's okay. Because the next one is extremely painful to deal with. So to complete the first one of the list, the army of those, the first thing that we are going to do, as this medal is to get all the those to spawn, uh, without killing any single one of these. So the first thing that we have to do is to make sure that we get all the gold ones spawn first, so we don't accidentally kill the gold ones. So here I use a very simple weapon. It's the use the keyboard. It's the simple weapon. It's the and for this I will actually alongside with the next challenge I would like to use the stone ring which increases defense. So I only take one damage from this strings projectiles. And I'm not certain with the enemy with actually going to be accidentally killing any of those stickmen because God knows what is happening. Because how do I even count this extreme mess? Because there are 790 of these stickmen, but God knows what is exactly happening with this. Because I'm pretty sure this is the way to do it. Right. The only thing that we can do at this moment is just wait and see if we got the medal. Because this gets crazy later. And the next medal is defeat all those. This may take a great portion of the video because as this medal is extremely annoying to deal with and is considered as one of the hardest medals in the, well, maybe not the hardest, but definitely one of the most annoying medals in the game at this moment. Come to this point where like golden medals, or maybe like uppercases and stage clear within 60 seconds as your heart. But yeah, other things don't really seem to be too difficult. But this one is it really gets focused on maybe like the stage clear within 150 seconds for Limestone Cave 6 on. But this defeat of those 30 or less, keep 30 or less, is really frustrating to deal with. And here we go. And the army of those. So yeah, that's the army of those. And if we use some sort of weaponry to deal with this, we're going to be able to do some decent about this. Okay, so that is the army of those. 790 of these things. Okay, that's the easy thing. Now it's round to the real challenge of this entire video. Is the defeat all those. Keep searching over less. So how we're going to do this is we go back to the level first because let's go the way around the places. Basically, how I can do it. So it started with 30 dose already. So the first thing that you actually have to do is to just basically kill this initial dose. This is the easy part. I tell you, it was only the easy part. So that's the 30 dose in the beginning. And before I actually continue, I want to take down these first as well because they can be quite a long way to do. The trees are the real killers here. So, okay. So the first part is to, the next part is to take care of these golden ones. And clear this one next. And so we are going to do this golden one section by section and find this cluster for this golden intelligence. So use these to clear the way the golden ones. Next section, this is all next. And that's the golden ones. You have to be really careful with this because it gets really annoying. So that's the easy part. So the easy part is basically that. Because I'm familiar with the because we take care of the street. Okay, so that's the easy part. Now it comes to more the most frustrating part. Let's see what I going to be doing. Let's see multiple shots maybe. I can't be sure ones. It's just some 18. How much health do they have? Let's see. 5,000. There's actually, which would do. That's actually not that much. Actually. Okay. I don't know. Use the min minus 2. And it's this 50. Okay, that's one tree down. So every time we take out a tree, 20 of them spawn, and one of them is the big one. And the big one is quite chunky. And the best way to treat this is to use the I guess it used to subject the concept. Okay. And that's the second clump. We'll have to do this 35 times. I will say use simple weaponries and makes the best out of this because if you try to use way too complicated things, you can just kill way too many of those trees and you will fail the challenge or at least fail the medal. So yeah, it can be some heavy taking, and this first shot is kind of concerning because it's over the places. So the spread, the damage spread isn't so severe because like it's a relatively low damage weapon, or quite low actually. So it shouldn't be too much of a concern, but it still can be, or it needs to be. Yes, it wants to be maybe. Yes, and be cautious with this because it can do quite a bit of damage. Let's run the next tree down. Perfect. The next tree down. I'm going to use this, and while you're still going to be using the mesmerizers, I'm going to turn you off. I gotta take care of the other side first. Yeah, this can take a while, but at least progressing for this. Though I don't know if I am still qualified for the medal because it's it doesn't really it doesn't really like just indicate you that like you already have more than 30 at one point. Like you don't really know if you're still good for a medal, and it is one of the um, most blind parts for doing this medal is that you don't know if you're still good or you're indifferent or you're just not level. Like this can take a long time because like you don't know if it's still good and or it's incapable of doing this already. or at least for the one. It's invalidated or like this. It's stupid. It doesn't give you a cue that it's still good or not. So I'm kind of doing this not knowing where I'm actually going to be able to do this. The first time I do this is I was swapping between the deadly blow and the death scratch to be able to single out the tree, and then not accidentally kill too many trees for this, and then to be able to efficiently kill the those that's one the tree. But in terms of this, it actually kind of works. I'm doing multiple shots, and also with this, I'm using the multiple shots to be able to clear the trees from the side and to be able to efficiently take down the trees without like killing too many without everything killing too many trees for this. And then still I don't have to swap the weapons because it gets very annoying to swap weapons. Also easier to cast in this one. So I don't have to like just worry about like the glove hits other enemies and cause any troops. Well, at least other than the target, like trying to take them. Because Amber has to be taken down. It's because, well, and my health is quite low already. We only have a handful of trees left. Still, you can film if you really just too greedy and then just yeah. I just kill so many trees by accident. You can always or you probably have been failed because they won't even. Trees left. Okay. Yeah, this is taking a good amount of time to actually clear. So yeah, you just have to take a long time to complete this, and I might actually die. I need to. Yeah, I want to try to do this without you. Yeah, this can be tricky, and yeah. Less than 100 health left. It's good. I'm gonna change my room. Okay. So that's the update for this whole year. Yeah, this is the final. This final medal is. I would say it's like the final challenge of the year. I can experience, I can feel. It's indeed difficult to manage the also in this relatively chaotic level. So yeah, you just kind of have to be careful with whatever you're trying to do with this level. You should be able to get through this, and yeah, that's basically for the updates for this year. From, from the last time we're doing this, 25.1 to current version 30.3. And yeah, that's basically for this video. And consider subscribing and turn on the notifications. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.